Hi and welcome to my short video on algebraic fractions. We're just going to look at a few simple ones. Hopefully you've watched the video on fractions and just talk about how we can deal with some algebraic fractions very quickly, including some simplification. So really before this video you need to have looked at the fractions one or be really comfortable with fractions and probably looked at some of that algebraic simplification type stuff as well. So let's start with some examples. I'm just going to bring in those fractions and simplification ideas into our examples. Let's start first of all with something reasonably simple. How do we deal with x in a fraction? So we'll do a minus and we'll make it 2x over 3. Okay, now this example is actually, hopefully you can see, not too bad because it's just something you'll be familiar with and happy with, written in a slightly different way. So this could actually be written as 1/7 x minus 2/3 x, which is still a bit of a pain, I know, but it's just some number of x minus some number of x. So you need to recognise that this isn't actually that complex. But if you want to deal with it as a fraction, which we're going to have to do anyway here if we're not doing it with a calculator, then we can just do the same as we did earlier with our fractions video. So first I want to get this denominator to be the same, and so I'm aiming out to, and I seem to tend towards 7 and 3 for some reason, but I'm going to multiply this by 3 and this by 3 and this by 7 and this by 7, and that will give me a common denominator of 21. So 7 times 3 is 21 and x times 3 is 3x minus 2x times 7 is 14x and 3 times 7 is 21, and so of course that gives me 3x minus 14x, which is negative 11x over 21. Or maybe better written as just negative and then 11x over 21. So there's our first example. I'm going to rub this off and we'll have a look at another one. Okay, and welcome back. So you'll see here I've got another example. And this time I've made it a little bit harder by putting an x in the numerator and an x in the denominator. But it's not that bad. So again, we're looking for the lowest common multiple as our denominator. And we've got an x there. So I multiply this side by x and this side by x. And over here I've got a 4. And so I multiply this side by 4 and this side by 4. And that gives me overall x times x on top is x squared over 4x plus, and here 7 times 4 is 28 over 4x. Now I've got that common denominator of 4x, and I can just add these together. X squared plus 28 is, well, x squared plus 28. They're not like terms, nothing I can do there, over 4x. So to add those two fractions together, that's what I get. Okay, we're going to have a look at one more example. This time we'll have a look at some multiplying and dividing. Okay, so here's our last example, and this one is a division question, so we can review that. It's also still a reasonably simple algebraic fraction. You'll take these a little bit further. So this time we're dividing, so we go back to those rules about dividing fractions. It doesn't matter if there's some algebra in there, some x's in there, we're still dividing fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as the front one stays the same, the thing being divided, but I multiply by the magic word, the reciprocal of 4x over 21, which is 21 over 4x. So when I reciprocate, over it goes. But now multiplying, the multiplication is actually pretty easy. And you might see a little trick here, which I'll show you in a minute. But for now, I can write this as 21 times 2x minus 3 over 7 times 4x, which is 28x. Now I'll give you a little bit of advice. As you move forward into math methods, it's going to become really beneficial to leave things in factorised form. In fact, you rarely expand unless you need to solve an equation, or maybe you're doing some sort of sketching function work. But for now, that's actually the best way to leave it, right there. But you might notice something here. 21 and 28 have a common factor. So what I'm going to do is cross out 21, cross out 28, and they both divide by 7, which leaves a 3 there and a 4 here. And so I can rewrite my answer as 3 times 2x minus 3 over 4x. And as you've gone through fractions in junior secondary, you've probably been looking for that cross simplification as you add, subtract, multiply, divide fractions. In this case, because we're multiplying here, I can not only simplify the terms in the same fraction, but I can cross simplify as well if there's a common factor. And there is a common factor, because 7 is here and 21 is there, and 7 can be divided by 7 to leave me 1, 21 can be divided by 7 to leave me 3, and then if I jump that forward, I end up there in one go. So you might spot that. You know what, if you don't, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, there's a bit of an introduction about algebraic fractions, and the main takeaway from this is that algebraic fractions, when you're doing simplification, they work exactly like normal fractions. You just have to deal with some x's and multiple terms. All the best.